In this video, I'm going to show you how you could be more profitable by only taking a few trades a month, right? And I'm talking like 10. Yes. So this is done by focusing on high quality, excellent quality trade opportunities. The key word there that I just mentioned is excellent quality. When we think about it, what does it mean for something to be quality? Something is quality when we consider the degree of excellence that it's measured against. If there's 20 trades, I know some of those are going to be higher quality and others will be less quality, right? But the key is that there are some that are going to be higher quality opportunities. And it becomes a matter of now, how can I identify those high quality opportunities and leave now the lower quality opportunities? That is the key. That is the key to becoming more profitable. It's not by taking more trades. It's by taking less and focusing on only executing whenever there is a high quality opportunity available. Now, just by definition's sake, if something is high quality, that means inherently that it's not going to be as common as something that's not as high quality. So what does that mean when it comes to this? Well, that means that you will not get high quality trade opportunities every single day, right? And what does that mean then? Well, if you want to only focus on high quality opportunities, that means you're not going to trade every single day, right? Now, the question becomes a question that you have to answer and ask yourself. Can you actually live with not taking a trade every single day, right? Why is it that you feel the need that you need to press buttons every single day? Why do you feel like you need to engage the market every single day, right? Is it because you see others making money? Are you getting FOMO? Why? What is it, right? And that's a question that you have to answer yourself. Now, if you're already beyond that, then great. This is just going to be a video talking about, my strategy and how I engage the market and how I recognize those high quality opportunities. But if you're not quite there psychologically, you have to get to that point where you're content with not taking a trade for a day, 2 days, 3 days, heck, 4 days. You might only take one trade in a week. That's the point of contentment that you have to get to internally yourself, right? And you have to be real with yourself. Can you genuinely do that, right? So that's what we're going to get into in this video. One of my favorite scriptures that I have kind of been meditating on recently is in Proverbs 21:5, right? The thoughts of the diligent lead surely to profit, but everyone who is hasty comes surely to poverty, right? What does that actually mean? Well, in the context of trading, right? When we want to consider this with trading, to me, this means that if we're going to rush and if we're going to just continue to take trades just for the sake of taking trades, just to be active, that's going to lead to poor results. That's going to lead to losses. But waiting for the right setups is going to lead to abundance. So that is, to me, there's so much wisdom just in this. There's so much wisdom in the Bible in general, but I think this is so applicable when it comes to trading because you need to be focused on just planning and executing on those high quality opportunities. Okay, so let's get into this video. This is essentially going to be a back testing session for the month of May, in which we are going to go through, so far we're on May 26th. We're going to go through the whole month of May. It's still a few days, but we'll go through what we have and kind of identify the high quality trade opportunities based on my strategy. So if you haven't, watch any of my other videos, then I will kind of talk about what my strategy is. So my strategy, essentially, I keep it simple, right? I look for higher time frame arrays, right, on the 4-hour chart. So I like to find 4-hour BISs, right? I like to find 4-hour buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiencies. I like to find 4-hour order blocks, but primarily 4-hour fair value gaps, in which I like to see, if I'm looking for a bullish entry, I like to see the market coming down into a 4-hour discount array. And then I like to see on a lower time frame, a change in state of delivery, right? A sweep of liquidity, and ultimately a retest of that order block / change in state of delivery, right? So if this is how it looks on the 4-hour on the lower time frame, I like to see some sort of, let's say there was some liquidity here that got swept, or you know, let's say this is sell side liquidity that got swept. Then from here, you know, I like to drop down, and I'm going to do all this here in a minute. I like to drop down to that lower time frame, right? And then on that 15-minute chart, I like to see some sort of, you know, oops, this is the wrong one. I like to see some sort of manipulation. Maybe some internal liquidity gets taken here, and then a change in state of delivery, right? And what is the change in state of delivery? It's going to be the series of candles, right, that swept the low. Once we close above that, that is now our change in state, right? So here, right, we had some manipulation, right? This sell side liquidity gets taken here. This sell side liquidity gets taken. And then from there, we get this change in state of delivery, right? Get this change in state here. If I could draw this, get a change in state here, right? And then I like to see a retest. This is all on the 15-minute chart, right? Because we always want to line up the proper time frames, right? ICT time frame alignments. 4 hours should always be lined up with the 15-minute chart, right? And then we get this retest here, and then ultimately the market goes higher with my stop loss placed below this low that swept liquidity, right, where that change of state was, ultimately targeting some sort of internal liquidity. There could be a 4-hour fair value gap here, some external liquidity, just targeting some sort of array above us, right? And generally, I don't care if this is below a 2-to-1 risk to reward, because again, they're high quality opportunities. You don't get them as often. So I'm totally okay with taking a 1-to-1 risk to reward, because I know this is a very high quality opportunity. I'm going to be honest, I'm not saying you will never lose, but if you execute this properly, you're going to have an extremely high win rate, probably well into the 80s and 90%. And again, if you're only taking 10 trades in a month, that means you're winning 8-9 trades out of the 10 that you took. So very, very successful, win conversions that I've seen with this strategy. So that's ultimately what I'm looking for in the market every single time. Looking for change in state a trade into a higher time frame discount array or premium rate, change in state, retest, and we're going higher from there. So let's kind of get into the chart. So here, first day of April, May 1st, first day of May, we had this 4-hour fair value gap, right? So that's the first thing we want to do, is identify where our arrays are, right? We had this 4-hour fair value gap here. What else did we have? We had this 4-hour fair value gap here, right? That the market hadn't quite yet traded into. At least it hasn't returned back into it. We were there earlier in the year. We had that. And so now, essentially, this is when I would want to see if the market is going to manipulate into this array with some sort of sweep of liquidity, and see if there's a trade opportunity on this first day of the month. So as you can see here, this is kind of how the market looked. We had this sell side liquidity that was resting here. All right, so I'll go ahead and mark that. Sell side liquidity that was resting here. So I'd love to see now in this 15-minute chart a sweep into here, change in state, retest, and higher, right? Targeting some sort of liquidity. So let's see, do we get that? So the market comes here, kind of trades lower here, boom. And so you see this whole day, May 1st, didn't really quite get any opportunities this day. There was nothing really here that came. So we can kind of go to the next day, May 2nd. So going back to that 4-hour, seeing how we look. Okay, so now we traded into that discount array. So let's see. Now we have some liquidity resting here, right? There's no 4-hour array above us until that one that was all the way up here. Where did it go? Make sure this is visible on that 15-minute. There's no 4-hour array resting above us until up there. So let's see, we have liquidity that's resting here below us. We have liquidity above us. Let's see, are we going to sweep any liquidity? Let's see, going into market open. Market comes higher. Trade into this 4-hour array here. Boom, so we sweep this high here. Then we do sweep this small high here, right? That is a sweep of liquidity, right? Our change in state would now be here. Let's see, do we get that close below? Nope, we don't get a close below. The market continues going higher. So boom. Now we're 2 days into the month. We haven't yet had a trade opportunity, right? So this is now a time where you have to ask yourself, okay, am I okay? I haven't taken a trade yet in 2 days. I haven't taken a trade. How are you feeling? You know, are you feeling FOMO or you got FOMO? Like how do you feel? So let's go to the next day. So you see now we sell off overnight. So going into now May 3rd, let's look, do we have another 4 hour? Yep, we have a 4 hour BISI here. So let's see, do we get this entry in this 4 hour BISI? Do we get this? So let's see, we have a sweep of liquidity here. We sweep this liquidity overnight, so that's great. Do we get a change in state? Let's see. This market close above there. No change in state yet. We sweep liquidity again now, going into that New York session. Still in that 4 hour gap. Let's see, do we get a change in state here? Sweep liquidity again. Boom. So let's see. We have now, looks like an opportunity. We have our 4 hour array. We swept liquidity here. All right, we swept liquidity here. And then from here, this was our change in state right here. All right, this is our change in state of delivery. All right, because that's the series of down close candles that swept that low. So boom, let's go back and enter on that retest, essentially. So now we'd be looking to enter when the market retests. So just for the sake of this, so I get a good entry, we go on the 1 minute. Looking to enter here on that retest, buying some here. Stop loss would be below here. First target would be here, targeting this internal liquidity here. Boom, immediately exits the trade. But you can see this actually goes higher, right? So honestly, you could have even re-entered here again on this change of state if you wanted, because again, it was still valid. Entering here, right, off that retest, because we come back and retest it again, right? You can target this liquidity once again. We can target another high somewhere else, but you can see the market does continue to go higher. Maybe you target this 4 hour fair value gap and you exit there. So that's already, boom, one trade opportunity. And that was a great risk to reward. I mean, if you took that and let me see, I actually did take this trade. I don't remember where I sold it at. I probably I have a video of it. I think I sold mine here, but yeah, this is a 1.5 risk to reward. So not bad. Great opportunity there. Okay, so let's see, going to the next day. That was out of that 4 hour gap. Let's see, is there anything else? Okay, market retest, sells off. Boom, back into this 4 hour gap here. And we sweep liquidity here. So let's see. We have some liquidity here. Going into 10 a.m., let's see what happens on this 4 hour chart. If we can sweep this low and close above here, that's a change in state. Right, so the market does push lower. Okay. All right, there's our change in state. We swept this low, very shallow sweep. I don't love it, but it is a trade, so we'll take that. Change in state of delivery. So now we want to play this retest. Now the retest is essentially when we come back down here to retest on that 15 minute. I'm only switching to the 1 because here on market replay doesn't let me enter precisely like that. So let's see, do we get that retest on the 15 or does the market go without us? Boom, 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 boom. Looks like the market is running. Yeah, so it looks like we don't get a retest, at least not in the AM session. Boom, market goes there. Okay, we come back in the afternoon, still don't retest yet. Boom, now we get that retest here. So now this is when we could enter, right? In this afternoon session, right? Stop loss above the, right here, below this low, right? Targeting some sort of internal external liquidity, looking to obviously scale out some of them, right? Because that's 177 points. You should not let that go red. So entering here, 5 contracts. Boom, let's see. Market goes higher. All right. And at this point, I would probably have scaled out some up there once we hit this inverted 4-hour fair value gap. So probably take some off here. Maybe even if it's just 2 of them. 3. Sell some there and then hold the rest. Now stop loss at break even. All right. Stop loss here, break even. And then you get stopped out. Market comes back down. But again, this trade technically is still valid because we never broke this low. As long as this low holds, I mean, it's still a good trade. So you can see, boom, market rips. We take out that liquidity there. So great trade there. I mean, that would have been a very long hold. You would have had to re-enter back at overnight in the, start of the next session, which is totally fine. But there's a trade opportunity. So now that's what, 2 days, May 5th. May 6th, now we've got 2 trade opportunities. I mean, again, at this point, this is more profitable than a lot of people already. You could literally be done for the month if you wanted, and you're now already more profitable than many, many people. Most traders, actually. I mean, if you took 5 contracts, you're already up 2,500. And that's on the micros. If you were taking minis, then obviously now you're up significantly more. So you can see that's that. So now let's see, okay, going into next day. Do we get an opportunity here? Okay, we trade into this 4-hour gap. Perfect. So we come back into this 4-hour gap here. So let's see. Do we get an opportunity here? Let's identify our liquidity. All right. Identify our liquidity. We had sell side liquidity here. Had sell side liquidity here. This was that liquidity that we swept previously. So now we have a 4-hour gap, sell side liquidity. Let's see. We also have this liquidity that's resting here. So let's see what the market wants to do. Okay, we sweep this liquidity. Now our change in state would need to be up here, right? To see if we'll get that. Okay, boom, we get it there. We also get that retest, right? Get a retest. So we'd enter here with our 5 contracts or however many you want to take. All right, stop loss below this low. Right, that's a huge stop loss, but that is the low technically. So we have to honor that, taking profits at some sort of high, internal high somewhere, on your chart that you like. But again, this entry would be here, not up here. The entry would be at 921, not 950, but just for the sake of the video, that's what we're going to do. So you can see the market does kind of consolidate going into the market close. And ultimately overnight, we do go ahead and hit our target there. So you can see this change in state holds very nicely, right? On the 15-minute chart. This change in state held very, very nicely. All right. So you don't even literally, there was barely any drawdown here. I mean, this is a matter of, obviously, I know if you're trading prop firm, you couldn't hold this position. You would have to sell it. But then you could also re-enter. And this was never in drawdown before the market closed at 6 or at 5 p.m. So by the time the market opened, you could have re-entered on this change in state. Boom, held the target here at this opposing liquidity. So boom, there's another trade. And again, you're only in 3 trades so far in the month. And they've been very high quality, haven't took any nonsense trades. Just following that same system, sweep the liquidity, higher time frame discount array or array in general, and change in state of delivery. So, okay, here we have, let's see. We have a 4-hour array. So let's see, do we have a setup here? We have some liquidity that's resting here that the market may look to sweep. So that's something we're watching for. But there was not really a setup anywhere in here pre-market, so nothing there to look for. The market does come higher here. Okay, we take out that liquidity. But at this point, the change of state is all the way down here. So no trade opportunity here for me. So kind of just looking and seeing. Nope, nothing really here that day. So Thursday, no trade. Let's see. All right, going into Friday now, May 9th. We have this little 4-hour fair value gap here. It's a very small one. Did I actually miss that one before? Let me see. Yeah, no, there was nothing there because we didn't get a retest here. So no trade there. So let's see. Nothing here. Okay. So don't really get anything on Friday either. So there was no trade opportunity here. I mean, the market didn't really do much. It kind of just consolidated. So those 2 days. So you get a trade Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, no trade. Again, are you fiending right now? Are you finna crash out that you don't have a trade? No, you should be happy to the fact that you found 3 good trade opportunities this week and you can take the rest of the week off because there's no more good opportunities. That's literally how you should be thinking of that. So here we had some buy side liquidity, market gapped up. We did have this fair value gap from, what is this, March 6th. So we'll want to identify that as a bearish fair value gap. So we'll go ahead and mark that as our 4-hour SIBI. Going into that new trading week. See the market does, wow, completely expand higher, 2 a.m. We invert that gap. So not really interested in that one anymore. Let's see, any other gaps here? We did sweep this liquidity. We had a very small gap here. Small volume imbalance here. But I don't really, let me see. No, we didn't touch that gap. Inverted this one. Nothing really here on this day so far. I don't see any gaps that would have been valid. Okay, but we do form this 4-hour fair value gap, this bullish one. So we'll go ahead and identify that. Four-hour bullish fair value gap. So let's see now going into this. Let's see, we have some liquidity that's here. We took this liquidity, but the 4-hour gap was formed right here at this time. So that's our sell side. So let's see if we can take another low before we go higher. Market does come higher here. Come here, we sweep this low. So that's some sell side. That does get swept here. Let's see now if we can get a change in state. Market doesn't quite do it here. Let's see. Kind of consolidating. Yeah, this is a day you're definitely just sitting around. So wouldn't be interested in that. There, now we get that change in state here. So boom, from this point, you can enter on the retest. I'm just going to enter here. Stop loss below this low. All right, targeting some sort of internal liquidity or external liquidity. All right, let's see. Market goes higher here, continues to go higher here. At this point, if we break this high, stop loss should go to break even. Boom. So definitely go break even here because now that we've taken out that high. Boom, barely missed us. Barely missed us, and we get it. And boom, there we get that target hit there, right? Again, this is literally, now unfortunately here we didn't get the retest, right? So if you're waiting for the retest, you wouldn't have got that. Personally, that's a preference thing. If you wait for the retest or not, I'm not going to tell you what you should do. It's just a preference if you want to wait for this 15-minute change in state of delivery retest. But yeah, you can see we get the change of state and the market does respect it and we go higher, take out that liquidity there. So boom, there's another good trade. All right, going back. That is on Monday, May 12th. So now that's 4 trades, I believe, in the week or in the month so far. So let's see. Now, what happens next day? This is Tuesday. Market goes higher. Okay, we form a couple 4-hour fair value gaps here. So we'll want to mark these out. We form this one here, right? And then we form this one here. So let's see, is there any liquidity anywhere? Doesn't look great, but we'll see what happens. Going into that opening. So you can see we kind of just consolidate, nothing here overnight. New York open. Let's see, market kind of goes higher. We did sweep this liquidity into this 4-hour gap. Didn't quite get a retest here. Oh, boom, we get that retest here. So there's that entry here. So I will show y'all really quickly. This, we get the change in state. All right. This is the change in state here. This is that change in state, 15 minutes. To see if my battery's about to die. I think I'm good. Get that change in state here, right? Sweep of liquidity here, right? And now it's just a matter of waiting for that retest, right? Let me drop to the 1 so get a better entry. Oops, missed that. Enter here, right? Stop loss below here, targeting maybe that high initially. That's so far the high of day. See if we get that. Ooh, woo. You see, we get that. Barely comes in, misses our stop loss, or almost hits our entry again, but doesn't hit it. You can see the market respects these change in states really nicely, which is why I love doing this. And so ultimately we do get that target hit there. Now, one thing I want y'all to notice is these are long trades, right? 9:45 entry till 12:45 exit, or 12:30. That's almost 3 hours you're sitting in a trade. But again, quality, that's what we're focused on. We're focused on quality. So that's all you should be looking for. So going back to that 4 hour. So that was that was our 5th trade of the month, I believe, on Wednesday, May 14th. So we're halfway into the month. You're taking 5 trades, right? How are you feeling? You should be happy that you're profitable. That's the only thing that matters, right? You shouldn't be fiending that you've only taken 5 trades. If you are, then yeah, you have some other psychology problems to work through. So let's go to the 4 hour again, see if we get any other setups. Let me see. Do we have any liquidity or bearish fair value gaps here? Yes, we have one here from February 27th. So we want to definitely identify that. Be aware of that going into this day. So we have a 4 hour SIBI here. Any liquidity here? No, not quite. Our liquidity is all the way up here. So we need to find some internal liquidity. And I have to make sure this is visible. All right, so on that 15-minute, where's our buy side liquidity? Because again, we're trading in now a premium array, so we're looking for short opportunities, right? Buy side liquidity. And that's, again, something people ask me is, oh, how do you get a daily bias? I don't need a daily bias. If I'm in a 4 hour fair value gap, I'm bullish. If I'm in a 4 hour if I'm in a 4 hour bullish fair value gap, I'm bullish. If I'm on a 4 hour SIBI, I'm bearish. That's it. But BISI is bullish, SIBI is bearish. That's the only bias or narrative you need. Anything else is just extra. You're going to put yourself on the wrong side of the market. So this, okay, we have buy side liquidity resting here. So we want to annotate that. Buy side liquidity. And then let's see what happens. Do we get a sweep of any liquidity anywhere? Okay, the market comes back down here. We have this liquidity here, right? And we also have our 4 hour fair value gap. So let's see, do we trade into that? We don't yet. Okay, we come back down here. We take this liquidity here, right? This sell side. So again, going to this day, I didn't know if it's going to be bearish or bullish, right? We didn't sweep buy side, so I had no reason to short yet. Now we're sweeping sell side. So let's see if we get a change in state now to validate this. Okay. And boom. Okay. So it looks like we might get that change in state here, which is this. All right. Change in state of delivery. Now, based off this, I also see we're inverting this, which is nice to see. before you even get the change in state, that's also a nice sign. So boom, we come back down here. Still no change in state. Market hasn't quite opened yet. Boom. Market opens here, and the entry would be on that retest, right? We close above, right? So we want to drop down. I'll just buy it here. Just know the entry's on that retest of that change in state. Take profit. It can be some sort of internal liquidity or external liquidity up here, right? Again, this is something you'll probably want to scale out of if you're targeting, something that's nearly 200 points away. So we get that retest here. Market comes lower. Boom. Then we get I think we probably had some news that day. I think this was Thursday. So yeah, there's PPI data that day. Market comes back higher. Again, we're still respecting this change in state, right? Market comes back down, still respecting the change in state here. Market has now opened. So you can see kind of still respecting it. Then we do get some spooling here. Boom. And ultimately target gets taken there. So as you can see, that's now our sixth trade, right? Our sixth trade. And we're just literally doing the same thing every day, only looking for those opportunities. So boom, we had that 4-hour fair value gap. Let's see, do we get another one? Nope, this one closes out. All right, so we go into our next day. Let's see what we get. No 4-hour fair value gap here. Though this is something interesting. We did get, let me look on no, I'm not gonna do that. I was gonna do something, but I'm gonna keep it simple. 4-hour fair value gaps is all we're looking for. So let's see. We didn't get anything that Friday. There was nothing really there. So that ends that week on that Thursday. 6 trades total now. And we're going into the next week. So boom, we have this 4-hour fair value gap. Market trades into. All right. So let's see. We swept liquidity here. Right. So we had this liquidity here that gets swept. And then we take this internal liquidity here. Right, this is technically a sweep, although it's not great. I don't love this kind of setup, but it is a sweep. So if we can close above here, that's a change of state. Because we did trade into this discount array, I'd honor it unless we get another sweep. Okay, still no change of state. Boom, we get the change of state there. But the market is way too far away. I would never enter here. But you see, we do get that change in state officially. You could if you wanted to enter up there. I would never in my life consider doing that, but I would just miss out on this if the market closes the 15-minute this high. Because remember, the change of state is only validated with a close. If it's all the way up here, what is this candle? 129 points. This is 120 points away from my entry. I'm not interested. I just miss out. So this is a day I end up missing out. Totally fine. Move on. We do take out this liquidity here, and we leave a little 4-hour fair value gap here. All right. So let's see what happens here. All right, we have now another 4-hour fair value gap. So this was a really bullish day on that Monday. All right, so let's see. Dropping down to our lower time frame. Let's see where our liquidity is. We have buy side here. I don't know if we had a 4-hour array above us. Let me make sure. No 4-hour fair value gap. So nothing to look for as far as shorts. Still kind of on the long side of the market. Let's see. Market does trade lower here. We sweep this low. So that means if we can close here, that's technically a change in state. But let's see. Okay, we sweep this low again here. Oh, we keep going lower. So nothing quite here yet. All right, we sweep this low here. And we do have this change in state here, but this is in the middle of the night, so I'm not really interested in that. So let's just go to New York, see what happens. So we have this kind of consolidation going into our New York Open. Let's see, we're in this 4-hour array, so now we're just looking for a sweep and a change of state anywhere. Honestly, I haven't seen one yet going into this New York Open. So still don't really get one here. Still nothing here. Okay, boom. Now we get a sweep of liquidity here. This is now when the market opens. We get this sweep of liquidity, which is perfect, right? Now we would need a change in state, which would be above here to validate any sort of long entry. Let's see. Oh, we don't get that. We continue to go lower, but this can still be validated. Okay. Oh, we respect that. So we don't quite get it there. All right. And that's a good thing about waiting for that close is it keeps you out of junk. So now if you are trying to anticipate this, now you're screaming because there was no entry here. So boom, we get that change of state here. So now you can enter here, right? Stop loss would technically be below here, right? Obviously, you know, that's as a preference as far as on the entry or the if your entry is going to be on the retest or on the close. As you can see here, market does kind of come lower, so we get that retest here. So you could, now you're just kind of sitting here, boom, get stopped out here on this one. So that's our first loss of the month. This would have been on what? This is Tuesday, May 20th, right? So boom, we have this 4-hour fair value gap, right? So let's see if this trade comes back. Let's see. So let me see. Was this really the change of state? Yeah, it was the change of state. So this trade just, yeah, it just failed. It just failed. It just failed. I mean, there's, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not, oh, you know what? I just realized something. This was not the change of state. This is the change of state here because this is the series of candles that swept this liquidity. I didn't see this liquidity here. That's why you have to. And I was thinking about this because I remember I took this trade, but I didn't lose on this. Yeah, because the change of state was here. So in reality, your entry is here on this retest, right? Because this is the series of down close candles that swept this low, right? This is not it because this up close candle did not, well, this is not the last up close candle. Well, sorry. This up close candle is the it starts the new series of down close candles. This one isn't. So now we're targeting, right, stop loss here. Again, same thing. Targeting some sort of internal liquidity, right? And then once a high is taken out, of course, stop should go to break even on this trade. So, all right. Yeah, this is a trade you would have got stopped at break even, which is totally fine. But in reality, this was not a losing trade. This was still a winning trade. I'm sorry, this was a break even trade because we took out these highs. So your stop should go to break even there. So let's see. All right, we sweep liquidity here. This would be a change in state into a 4-hour fair value gap. Let's see if we can get that. All right, we get that here. All right, this is, I don't love this. I honestly hate when our change in state is this big. I mean, our stop, I'm not even interested in this, honestly, because look at this. If you enter here, your stop loss now has to be 136 points. And you're targeting something that's not even 136 points away. So I don't love this setup. Even for me, I personally would have avoided it, but I think it could still work out. Let's see. Let's see. This is obviously an overnight hold, and yeah, I'm not even interested in this. Yeah. So that's something I would not have taken anyway. This is just too large of a stop loss for me. So boom, that's that. And now what are we, May 21st? So we just have a few more days. So let's see on our 4-hour chart, anything we like here. Okay, we have this for our fair value gap, but I really like this liquidity here. If we can trade lower into this 4-hour fair value gap, that could be a great opportunity. So let's see, going into that New York Open, let's see if we get anything. Market trades lower here, go down to our lower time frame. So we do trade into that 4-hour fair value gap, right? Our change in state is technically here, right? So if we can get a retest here, that'd be great, right? Technically, you could have took this. You should have took it here, right? But I fast forwarded that 4-hour candle. But you would have took this here at 8 a.m. on that retest, right? Stop loss below here, targeting some sort of internal liquidity here. See if we get a retest. Nope, no retest. It kind of goes without you. So this is one you would have had to enter earlier in the morning prior to the market open, which is totally fine. So we missed out there. Let's see, do we get a new 4-hour fair value gap? Let's see. No, but we do get something interesting here. We sweep this liquidity. No, we don't sweep that liquidity. So nothing I love there. Let's see. Though that might be a 4-hour change of state. Let me see. Oh, yes, this is what I like here. So we get this. So this is going into that Thursday. So we have this liquidity here. All right, sell side liquidity here. And what are we on right now? I think 7 trades so far in the month. Let's see. So the market comes here, right? We sweep this liquidity. This would be our change in state now, right? Into that 4-hour fair value gap. Boom, we get that close there, barely. I don't really love that close, so I wouldn't take that until we close a little higher. Still don't get a close there. Boom, we get a close there now. Now I'd be looking for the retest because that's just too far of an entry, though I don't think you're going to get it. It just went kind of far. Went kind of far. That's fine. Let's see. Do we get the retest? We do get the retest here. So boom, would enter. I don't want to drop to the 1, so just going to enter here. Stop loss here, right? Targeting some sort of internal liquidity somewhere. And remember, that's kind of far, so we're going to be looking to take some profits off. So the market does come higher here. If we take that high out, then we'll be looking to go to break even. Boom, we take that high out there. So stop loss to break even here, right? And I wish I entered down there because it might hit it, but we'll see. But anytime we take highs out, you see we took these highs out, right? So in theory, we should have scaled something here, right? We should have scaled at least, right, 3 contracts or something here. And then stop loss break even on the rest, right? Especially because we had already come back to our entry. So let's see. Then from here, it does stop you out. So, but this is something very interesting. Is this a 4-hour? Do we have a? This is actually very interesting because now we have a 4-hour fair value gap. I'm sorry, a 4-hour change in state. This is a 4-hour change in state. Why? Because this 4-hour candle swept this high, right? We swept this high. This is buy side liquidity here. So the fact that we swept that high makes that a change in state here. Make that a little thicker. And then there will be, technically, you could have taken this entry here on this retest because this is now a 15-minute change of state. The only thing I don't love about it is that we didn't quite, well, yeah, this actually, no, I do like this because this is a 4-hour, again, if we don't have a 4-hour fair value gap, you can use a 4-hour order block. You can use this 4-hour inversion, right? But you need a 4-hour hard time from array, right? And then you get this here, right? You get this sweep here, change in state here, retest, boom, targeting liquidity. So you had a short opportunity here too, but I personally don't like to take 2 opposing trades in the same day, so we'll miss out on that. All right, so going back to that 4-hour, let's see here. I think we only have a couple days left to catch up. Boom, we had a huge sell-off here. This was that Friday after we had that 4-hour change in state. So that respects bearish order flow now on the higher time frame. Boom, we get this candle here. We sweep some liquidity here. So let's see, what time was this at? This was, yes, let's go back an hour because this, we had our all our criteria met, right? Sweep of liquidity here into a higher time frame array, right? But the problem is our change in state right now is all the way up here, right? So nothing quite yet here. We'd have to sweep some liquidity again somewhere. Nope. So no trade this day. And that's totally fine. No trade this day. I think we're at seven trades still for the month. So let's see. Now going into this week, I believe this is where the market is at right now in real time. So let me see. Yeah, I believe, this is where the market is now. So going into this week, it's just a sneak peek, I guess. We have this 4-hour fair value gap, which is really nice. I don't think we traded into that yet. Have we? Yeah, we're right here. So you can see this month so far, the month's not even over. We still have a few days, but this is literally $9,500 in profits, just taking 5 micros, 100% win rate, right? Because we had that one break even trade. That one wasn't really a loss. In fact, I think the loss was counted in here. So really this was more like 10K. So you can see that's why I say this is 7 trades into the month, right? And again, you haven't traded more than 50% of the days. You're not trading, but that's okay because you're up. You're winning your trades. You're up. What more is important? Are you more concerned about taking a trade every day? Or are you more concerned about making money and being able to enjoy your life? I would hope it's the latter. But as you can see, this is to me the holy grail. This is the pinnacle of trading, is focusing on less, because less is always going to become more, right? In terms of your profit, in terms of your mental capacity, it's always going to be more. So always just focus on taking high quality setups, high quality trades. This is a strategy I use. Whatever your strategy is, make sure you're taking high quality trades. You should only be taking those a few times a month. You only get those setups. It's very unlikely, unless you're a 1-minute trader or something like that. Maybe you can convince yourself, but I personally don't like trading the 1 minute anymore, because it allows me to think there's more high quality setups than there actually are. This is truly the definition of high quality setups. So anyways, that's all I got for y'all in this one. I hope y'all find a lot of value in it. I will see y'all in the next one.